Pitching is the most common activity in baseball and will be the center of our research today. Pitching requires the whole body to move in unison. The process starts with the pitcher lifting his foot, then moving his hips, and ending with throwing the ball. To produce maximum velocity, a player must utilize both their lower body and their upper body in unison to create the fastest throw. Today in sports science, we'll be looking into the two major pitching styles.
The two pitching styles that we will be comparing are the overhand pitch and the sidearm pitch. The overhand pitch requires the player to raise their arm above their head when completing the pitch. The sidearm pitch follows a similar motion, but changes the angle of the elbow to nearly 180 degrees. Pitches thrown sidearm have a different rotation, which could make it harder to hit for somebody who's used to facing an overhand pitcher. To compare the differences between the two pitches, we'll be throwing a ball at the same distance and looking into what pitch type will produce the higher velocity. Firstly, we will show the variation of the two pitches. The overhand pitch is thrown as close to the body as possible. This technique requires a small elbow angle which allows for a faster throw, but since you are releasing it from the top, a fastball would generate a spin that affects the ball in the vertical direction. The overhand pitch also travels on a path from near the center of the mound to the catcher. The sidearm pitch varies from the overhand pitch in a couple of ways. Firstly, the pitch is released slower than the overhand pitch. This pitch is also released 30 inches away from the body horizontally. Since you are releasing it from your side, this allows for the ball to have more side spin and causing more horizontal ball movement. Since the ball is released with the arm extended to the side, it isn't coming straight at the batter, which can sometimes make it more difficult to hit.
The velocity of a pitch will vary based on the grip that the player holds the ball. For this test, we'll be using a fastball grip. This picture shows the finger grip associated with the fastball. The fastball is a common pitch as it generates the highest velocity when it is thrown. A typical fastball generates backspin, which gives the ball an upward lift when it is thrown. This is referred to as the Magnus effect, which offsets the downward pull of gravity on the ball. Therefore, the faster the ball is thrown, the less the fastball will drop over the duration of the pitch. This pitch also produces the least amount of lateral movement within the air.
One of the most common injuries among pitchers is a break or a tear in the ulnar collateral ligament, or the UCL. This ligament connects the humerus to the ulna and undergoes a lot of stress during the pitching motion. After so much stress over a long period of time, the UCL begins to tear, leading to pain and discomfort, or a complete break where the ligament detaches completely. This injury can be treated a couple different ways. The first and most well-known is with Tommy John surgery, which is where a tendon is removed from somewhere else in the body and connected to where the UCL should be. The other way is with physical therapy, bracing, and anti-inflammatories. Research has shown that pitchers who release the ball laterally have a higher chance to undergo Tommy John surgery, suggesting that sidearm pitchers are more likely to injure the UCL and be a candidate for Tommy John surgery.
The movement of the hips and legs significantly impact the overall speed of a pitch. To reduce the variation between pitches, we decided to only use one pitching style, which is called the stretch or the set in baseball. This allows for less leg and hip momentum to affect the velocity of a pitch. As you can see in the video, Nick completes the process of throwing an overhand pitch at the wall. Nick released the ball at 6 feet 10 inches and threw the ball 25 feet. The ball hit the wall at 4 feet 2 inches off the ground and traveled with an average speed of 33 miles an hour. Nick's arm maintained an angle of 95 to 105 degrees. This allowed Nick to increase the amount of force that he could exert on the ball. Over the 3 trials, the velocities were 33, 32, and 34 miles an hour. As you can see in the second video, Nick changed his pitching style and is now pitching sidearm. Nick released the ball at 4 feet 3 inches and threw the ball 25 feet again. The ball hit the wall at 4 feet 2 inches off the ground and traveled with an average speed of 28 miles an hour. The major difference was the angle that Nick kept his arm during the pitch. Nick released the ball between 148 and 165 degrees each time. This angle is much larger than the overhand pitch and allowed for less force to be produced. The 3 trials produced varying velocities of 25, 31, and 29 miles an hour. This may be attributed to the lack of experience with the throwing motion and the variation in form of each pitch.
Here's a video of an MLB pitcher throwing an overhand fastball pitch.
With 1 out. Got him. The number 8 man here, Jace Peterson. Won't get a walk. Started this inning at 79. Blows it by Garcia.
Here's the wind, 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him. 35,000 plus. The wind, the pitch. It is. And there's strike 3.
Swing and a miss. Number 19.
For the Nationals to have him on their roster. Here, have some of this.
Looking back at the trials of both overhand and sidearm pitching, there were significant differences between the 2 pitches. Our data supports the hypothesis that overhand pitching will produce a higher velocity on a pitch. The overhand pitch consistently produced a higher overall velocity compared to the sidearm pitch. The results that we found from throwing a tennis ball may vary in comparison to throwing a baseball. A baseball will produce a higher velocity and can allow for more movement during the throw. Pitching is more complex than just how fast you can throw the ball. The change in direction of the ball during the pitch is also important, and this is where sidearm pitching can be useful. Sidearm pitching has some benefits in ball movement, but is simply not as fast as the conventional overhand pitch. A combination of the 2 could allow for a fast pitch with enough ball movement to confuse a batter. In conclusion, decreasing the elbow angle can allow for the pitcher to increase their pitch speed. That is all from Sports Science, and we hope to see you next time.